Welcome to another adventure. It feels like forever since I made a video. I've filmed everything through the Alaskan and Canadian road trip that I did. I also filmed doing Hell's Gate and Hell's Revenge in the stock Cayenne that I recently purchased. I haven't gone over this at all, but I purchased another 2008 Porsche Cayenne S in the exact same spec as this one. So the plan with this one is to create sort of the perfect overlander, make it a nice clean vehicle before I wreck it or do anything else. Like, I want it to be just a complete thing. I'll probably start living out of that one too. I'm gonna no longer live out of this one. This one will be like a dedicated rock crawler and stuff, and will hopefully be caged within the next year so I can race it in Baja. It's got a long way to go, of course, and a bunch of parts needs to be replaced after the 8,000 mile road trip. So today's video is about the wheels that I've picked up. So if you may have seen them on Instagram, I posted a little teaser of 2 sets of wheels that I bought. So one of them is this Braid wheel set right behind me. And then another is these RaceLine Ryno Forged Beadlocks. So these are super sweet. They're 17-inch. Shout out to Gino Foster for going to RaceLine's headquarters and test fitting the wheels to make sure that they would. So I'm stoked to run these on the OG Cayenne, and the braids are going to go on the stock Cayenne once I'm done doing a little more stuff with that while it's stock. I want to do Black Bear Pass in the near future, but for now I'm just stoked. Also, I feel very overwhelmed in life lately. I very much need to get my own shop space or a residence or whatever I can, because I'm tired of relying on other people to do things, and just feeling not very motivated to live in the car recently, and I feel like my time needs to come to an end. But I don't know, I started to live in my car because I hated waiting on other people to do things, and I really wanted to be at a point where I could not have to rely on anyone for anything. And it's gotten to a point now where I have to rely on other people for things, and you know, that's like healthy. It's healthy to do that, but not in the way that I'm doing it, it seems. So I need to figure my situation out. That's also a reason why I haven't felt like posting a video. So yeah, I'm gonna mount up the braids. I've also got these sweet valve stems too. So these are Apex like quick air down valve stems, and I'm super stoked about them because you unscrew the cap and then you can pull this and it'll air down very, very quickly. Push that back in, screw the valve stem back on, or valve cap back on when you're done. So these are cool. Also, shout out to General too for sending me tires for both of these wheel sets and then supporting me throughout the Hell's Revenge and Hell's Gate video. If you guys have seen that already, if not, it'll be out soon. But let's do this. So the valve stems have to be torqued to 22 inch-pounds, and I have no idea how much that is, and I don't have a torque wrench that goes that low. And then all the other bolts on the beadlock are requiring 22 foot-pounds. So I also have to use anti-seize on every bolt too, just to make sure they don't get locked up, because it's like a steel bolt in aluminum. This is my first time. Let's do this. So these are the 140 millimeter valve stems. Goes right in through the other side and then gets bolted through. So I've torqued down the valve stem to what I believe is about 22 inch-pounds. Hopefully I got it correct, because it's just like a little rubber seal, and if I don't have it correct, because I have to torque down the rest of the bolts on the beadlock. So if I don't have that correct, I have to untorque those, pull it off, and then re-tighten or potentially loosen the valve stem. So it's a little tricky situation. Not having a torque wrench of the correct size is a little bit of a pain in the ass. So just gonna have to roll with it and hope that it's gonna be okay. Trusting that I am intelligent enough to make it work. So I just have to throw any seize on the bolts as I'm putting them in here, and hopefully that's gonna be enough. So I've gotten all the bolts tightened down on one of the beadlocks. This is taking much longer than I expected. The sun's really setting in right now, trying to kill me too. It was behind the warehouse, and then now it's sitting over there. But I'm gonna try and use the power tank to seat the bead, and it's important to me to get this one done, or at least to get air in it so that I can tell if the valve stem is gonna hold, if I'm doing that accurately. And then also, yeah, I just wanna see if it's actually gonna work or not. So this is my first time seating the bead with the power tank. It has the ability to, it's a completely full tank, so we're gonna see what we can do. So now that the bead has seated on the tire, I've aired it up with my Harbor Freight air compressor to 42 psi. Now I'm just going to let it sit for a while and see if it holds that pressure. I am going to go back over this with a torque wrench as soon as I find one that's going to work well. But the one that I have doesn't read that low. So did what I can. I know I didn't over torque them, over tighten them, but we're just going to see if it bleeds out. And then torque them correctly soon. It's been about maybe 3 hours or so now. I think each wheel is safely taking me about an hour to do. It would be faster if I had an electric ratchet, which I wish I did, but here I am doing every single bolt by hand and kind of torquing them with a small ratchet or a 1/4 inch ratchet. So I'm working on getting the third one beaded right now. I'm gonna push through for the last 2 and then call it a night. Do the other 5 maybe in a few days, maybe tomorrow. I'm not entirely sure. Sunday I'm gonna hike a mountain, so maybe tomorrow, maybe Monday. We'll see what happens. Finishing up the RaceLine beadlocks right now. I bought this Husky torque wrench that goes from 10 foot-pounds to 100 foot-pounds. So I'm finishing up the last wheel. I've torqued the rest to the correct spec, 22 foot-pounds. And once I finish this up, I'm gonna start mounting and then assembling the braid beadlocks. So I bought the electric ratchet, I bought the torque wrench, and I'm ready to hopefully get the next set done a lot faster than I got these done. But I won't know until we start them. So now opening the braids. I've already opened the boxes. You guys are going to see them now for the first time. But I am super stoked on the colors of this wheel. These are the Braid WinRace T Beadlock A's. So these are the beefiest version they have of the wheel. I'm stoked. They need a small spacer for the beads of the general tires as well. So I'm going to take this out, get it on the ground, and then start disassembling or removing the hardware that they've included. So for the braids, I have to add a spacer around all the sides of the wheel. There's 4 spacers per side, or per wheel. Get them to fit in there nice. And then I'll have to set the bead ring on top. This is going to be pretty crappy. The spacers are kind of a pain in the ass to get all lined up, but once you do, they all sit in pretty nicely. I still have to, you know, thread. I still have to anti-seize every bolt and then go along, but I have to have a few in there to keep the wheel or the bead ring down in the meantime. So let's begin that long process. Not too bad. The bead doesn't want to seat. What the fuck? I'm finally done mounting all 10 beadlocks, and this is the most exhausted I've been in a long time. I'm waiting for the 5th one to pop the bead and air up to about, I guess, 42 PSI is what I'm thinking of running all the beadlocks at normally on the street. This is taking so long. The electric ratchet has made my life so much easier. I think I might be here like an extra 2 to 3 hours if I didn't have that. They look so good. This is such a cool wheel. This too. I think I am going to have a problem in the future with the race lines because from what I can tell, they are just bare aluminum. They're not clear coated. They're not anything on top of it. So they're going to become cloudy after like a few months, maybe longer if I'm lucky. But something will have to be done about those in the future. But the braids are solid. The braids are going to be nice for a long, long time. So after this pops the bead, I'm headed out. I'm going to get something to eat, something to drink. Almost drank a gallon of water today, but yeah, I'm just ready to finish these. And then I'm gonna throw the race lines on this, and then I have these wheels sold on Monday. So these will no longer be in my possession. I won't have a need for them. And a friend, Jarrett, told me he wants them. So we're gonna be reunited with them in Moab at the end of the month when he comes up for the Cayenne and Vag off-road thing. So sweet, looking forward to it. I will see you guys later.